Coming up next, it's Casper's Scare School on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, for real contests on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Homo Hungry on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, Scooby-Doo, the mystery begins on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Open Season on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Adventures in Mississippi on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Scary Godmother 2, The Revenge of Jimmy on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's A Black Lip, Mr. A Batwoman on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Tom and Jerry Blast Off Dolores on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's a Pokemon Movie 10, The Rise of Dogbraid on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo's Rainy Night.
Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo and the Witch Ghost on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Ladders on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo Parades Ahoy on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Foster's movie, Destination Imagination on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Foster's movie, House of Blues on Cartoon Network.
Pokemon 3, the movie is coming up next.
Coming up next, it's the Very Merry Underfist Special on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, Underfist Curling Clash on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Uncle Jim and Cheeto and Yosa on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Boy's Big Musical on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Ben 10 the movie on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Disco Lodge on Friends Adventures on Grandma on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Rick on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Let's Go Lulu, Enter the Universe Glitch on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Dope Not Movie on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Uberduck Roasters on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's City World on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's the Baker's Backing Over on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Jonah, a Vegetals movie on Cartoon Network.
Up next, it's The Simpsons on Cartoon Network.
Powerpuff Girls, the movie is coming up next.
Coming up next, it's The Incredibles 2 on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Tom and Jerry Shiver Me Whiskers on Cartoon Network.
Coming step lettuce us movies cartoons on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's the Billy and Mindy Underfist Show on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's the Powerpuff Girls movie on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Billy and Mandy's Big Rogue Adventure on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's That Crooksip on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, Steven Universe the movie on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Garfield Gets Real on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's Foster's movie Good Will Hunting on Cartoon Network.